yo, let me know your thoughts on playing around Branded Fusion since you can't Synchro Fusion at the same turn. Yeah, so I've explained this concept a few times, but it's something that's important to keep nailing down, like, and we'll see that with this hand, but like, what happens when you draw both these cards, right? Well, the thing is, they work together, right? Like, ideally, you would like to go Fall on the White Dragon to bait Ash, right? So, like, in this kind of hand, honestly, you normal Quem, first of all, to, like, bait an Imperm. And if that's the case, it's like, okay, great. Like, chillin'. But here we can go Fall on the White Dragon, right? Let's just say they Imperm our Quem. We go Fall on the White Dragon, send for cost. Albion effect. In my opinion, or sorry, Titanclad. You always send the Titanclad because you have the Branded Fusion in hand, so you might just need to, you might already get the Albion in the graveyard, right? Unfortunately, the Quem getting Imperm kind of sucks for no Cartesia access, to be honest. That's the thing, like, why would you, I mean, I guess if you Ash that makes sense, but then I just Synchro off for Fallen of the White Dragon, so, like, this already just plays through it all. I don't know why they would, I guess that makes sense. That's the thing, dude. If they Ash this, it's like, okay, do I just go Ecclesia the Black? But no, not on this hand, I guess. I mean, you could. Oh, there's so many different options here, but, you know, for instance, let's just say Fall on the White Dragon. Let's just do it as if we don't get hand trapped. So, with that being said, I guess, because it's a little confusing if we do get hand trapped. So, in this hand, I think it's always about sequencing with Branded, like, what do you want to get hit least versus most, right? Like, I would prefer these two not getting Ash, so I lead with Quem. And Quem's like a good way to bait out hand traps, so ideally, though, we send Quem into, or sorry, we send the Cartesia usually off the Quem. It just depends always, though, on your board stay on what you're sending off a Quem. And here, since you have Branded Fusion and Fall on the White, it's like you have to debate on which line you're going. However, you can layer Fall on the White into Branded Fusion and do both. It just depends on, like, how your deck is modeled, right? Like, do you have the Lubellion Lost, so your Branded Fusion line's, like, super strong? If that's the case, I'm definitely going Branded Fusion in this line. However, either way, you can go Fall on the White Dragon once again, baiting Ash, summoning out the Ecclesia. And at this point, you can kind of just do what you want, right? Like, you could go Branded Fusion. Also, this Titanclad should be in the graveyard. My bad. And that's the thing. Even if we get Ash on Branded Fusion, it's like, okay. Like, we're totally fine, right? But in this instance, I think I'm just going to go Branded Fusion because we technically get more out of it. Since we get the Albion on top of whatever the Cartesia, which will send another interruption. So I think in this combo line, going Branded Fusion actually gets more than just locking into the Synchro, because the Synchro doesn't get you into the Albion as easily. It does, but it sacrifices, like, you get more out of the Branded Fusion. I'll show you what. So we go Branded Fusion, and it's never, like, clear cut. But we'll send the OG Albaz, doesn't really matter, plus, I guess, a Stellar. And then go into the Albion. And then go Chainlink 1, Albion, send for banish. Oh, we don't have another Dark. I guess we can banish these guys. 2 Albazes. That's kind of funny. It gives us a free Dark. So it does actually make our Branded Fusion line a little bit better. Lubellion effect, discard the opening, spin back itself, plus the OG Albaz. Into Jade. And now we can trigger the Quem, summon out the Cartesia. We should have done this before. Like, clearly when the Albion got summoned, it should be Chainlink 1 Albion, Chainlink 2 Quem, target Cartesia to chain block that. But now we can go Cartesia effect, fuse off the Albion. You see what I mean, though? Because if we went the Synchro line, the only way we get Albion is through Grand Guignol, where now we get the Grand Guignol, and Grand Guignol can send whatever the fuck it wants. So now we can go Grand Guignol effect. Like, what do we want? We have Albaz access. We have Albion access. Oh, also, we can go just a Stellar here. I completely forgot about that. We could summon a Stellar on the Resolution because we discarded off of Lubellion the Branded opening. I think we should here, because off of the Grang, we can then send the Dragon that Devours the Dogma. And now we could go a Stellar Effect, discard the branded opening to send the Cartesia, right? Or to summon the Cartesia. And this is kind of the board we end up making. And then we can go into the end phase. Trigger the Dragon that Devours the Dogma. We can get the Mercurier. And then we can go Cartesia to hand. And now we can go Albion Effect to set or add a branded spell or trap card. We can just get the branded red, or it could be the Fallen and the Virtuous. And then we can get the Titanclad Effect to add the OG Albaz to, or no. We just add a new Albaz to hand because we have Ecclesia on board to summon out the OG Albaz. And this is our end board, right? Pretty decent. And it's way better than your standard branded fusion board, right? Because you end on Cartesia plus Ecclesia. And then you still get the Mercurier, and you're not having to run branded loss, right? Like, you are missing out on branded loss in this line, which, once again, you can run the Lubellion plus loss over the Esteller. Like, it's totally fine. I just find myself, like, not really needing the loss unless I'm trying to prevent branded and red. And, like, honestly, like, I just don't think it's, like, worth the slot, frankly, anymore, as much as I thought it would be. But it definitely is a very good card. Thanks for the info. Thank you. Hello. Soul Metal. I top at my tournament. It was a box tournament. I pulled crazy. I built branded 42. Did good. Hell yeah, dude. I've been running 42 branded too recently. If you guys have seen my recent TCG deck profiles, been a big fan. And this build's also at like what 44. So I like that low to the ground branded. Like the spell ground. I have a similar one, but it's dark purple. Shit. Fallen of the White Dragon, Spriggan's Kit, Fallen of Albaz, Aluber, Brand Red. Wow, this hand sucks going second. And it's like fine. It has like plenty of pushes, but it's not like you can. I mean, you can do stuff with it going second, especially if the top deck was like a breaker. And this is like the shitty thing about running hand traps is that if this top deck was a breaker, I'd have way better of a chance. However, you're probably losing anyways with this hand, even if that was a breaker, is the issue with breakers right now. Like, you just need a... Sorry, I'm late to class. The Esteller has so much potential. Hell yeah, Canes. How's it going, Canes? So, once again, when you're playing this variant, I think you literally always open Fallen of the White Dragon, in my opinion, because this card, like, plays through hand traps on its own, and then it also baits hand traps really heavily. So, like, we can just go main phase, Fallen of the White Dragon, send for cost. Titanclad, right? You send the Titanclad when you still think you have a branded fusion line, always. If you don't think you have a branded fusion line, I think you always send Albion. And now we can go Fallen of the White Dragon, summon out the Ecclesia. And, you know, this is where I'm talking about where, like, they would just ash this, right? And then it's like, okay. Anyways... Normal summon Aluber. Do they imperm you? Okay. Special summon Spriggan's Kit, right? Like, so search out branded fusion, spin back Albaz, and then go branded fusion. You're just kind of playing the game at that point. It's like not the best end board. And to be honest, you might just want to go High Spirits in that case instead of Branded Fusion and then just spin back the Branded and Red, honestly. But I don't know. Fua opening, Ghost Spell, Branded Fusion. I think I have to cut down on some of the cards in my deck so that we can get down to 40. But this hand's insane, right? Any hand with like Perilia plus like a breaker and then another hand trap, or sorry, Mulcharmy plus a hand trap, and then the world is yours, right? Probably Fallen on the Virtuous plus 2 starters. This hand's just absolutely nuts. You probably win every single game with it, especially with like, just depends on like the Fuolo straws, but those aren't bad Fuolo straws. The Fab is kind of like whatever. But let's just say like you get this hand. This is like a fusion hand, obviously. So it's kind of boring in that respect, but I still think it's like worth it to do. We could go branded opening, pitch the Fuwalos in main phase. And that's the thing, we could go for the Fallen of the White, pitch the Ghost Spell, pitch the Ghost Spell, go for Luber into High Spirits into Fallen of the White. I mean, it's either that or summon Quem. Man, it's probably just summon Quem, right? It's either that or we do the Fallen of the Virtuous line. Let's just do the Fallen of the Virtuous line. This is what I'm talking about, though, because, like, you don't want to discard... Like, I don't want to go down the line that discards a Ghost Spell, because a Ghost Spell is just, like, a good onboard piece anyway. So that's why I feel it's, like, probably correct to just still play it out like this, where you just... But then you don't have a Dark. Oh, that's so annoying. Yeah, I guess you just do discard the Ghost Spell, then? I guess we have to, just to get a decent... Not decent onboard, but the best onboard that we can. And then go Branded High Spirits, reveal the Fuwalos, send the Renbrum. It's either that or just Cartesia, right? But this doesn't make sense since I don't have a Dark in rotation, so I just go for the Fallen of the White. And then we can go Fallen of the White effect. Send for cost. I mean, it just depends. So I'm just not getting to Cartesia here either way, which kind of sucks. Oh, wait. This is broken. This is why we run Alba Lenatus, by the way. So, summon out Ecclesia. And it's like, okay, we still play through Ash because we have Ecclesia plus Ridbrup set up, but plus Fab, but then we go Branded Fusion, and it's like, okay. We go Branded Fusion, send Albaz plus... I guess Cartesia. Yeah, Cartesia for sure. It's not even I guess, it's for sure. Now, this is kind of a cool line, and this is why Alba Lenatus has infinite, just like, utility in Branded. We can go Albion, the Branded Dragon effect, to then banish. And here we really just, like, decide on what we want, right? Like,
metagame is the
I think
goat.
we can discard the, I mean, I guess
back.
I'm discarding Fallen the Virtuous. I actually hate like saying that, but I guess we do. Actually, what's up? I need to keep this on board because we don't have another Dark, so I guess we do just banish the Renbrum, which sounds terrible, but also I have Ecclesia on board. But then I get rid of the OG Albaz. That sucks. That kind of sucks. Like, what do I do? So I want to contact fuse these guys off for Alba Lenatus. I could just make the Grand Guignol. Yeah. That probably sounds about right. Banish. Yeah, banish the Ecclesia. Yep, this is the line. Summon out Grand Guignol. Go Grand Guignol Chain Link 1. And that will send really just whatever at this point. Probably just the Dogma. And then here we can contact fuse off the Albion plus the Fallen of the White Dragon on our field for the Alba Lenatus so that we can get the Albion in the graveyard. So this is also why Alba Lenatus is really good, because you can get rid of the Albion off the Branded Fusion when you don't run the Lubellion or a Stellar if you don't have the Stellar line, right? So now I can set the Fallen of the Virtuous, or just keep it in hand if I want to add Mercurier. And then... But this doesn't really send anything important with my graveyard already being full, so I should just set this, go into the end phase, and then now we have OG Albaz in the graveyard, plus a full graveyard, so that's pretty... Plus the Grand Guignol, right? So we can go... Dragon that Devours Dogma, search out the Mercurier. And then we can go Titanclad, summon out the Quem effect, send the Cartesia. That's why having a second Cartesia is nice as well. Add the Cartesia to hand. And now we can go Albion effect to set or add a Branded spell or trap card, and we can just set... We could just add Branded in red here. And then... It just depends if we want to add or set it or not. I think we could add it and then go brand. This is what some people do, which plays into, in my opinion, it plays into Dark Ruler more, but you can go branded in red here, target the Albaz, and then, I mean, like, you fuse off the Guignol, but that's like an interruption you're losing, right? Like, I wouldn't do that personally. I just think you're losing interruptions doing that. And then we can just pass to our opponent, right? Because we could save our one Mirror Jade and then wait for our opponent to play. And then go Renbrum effect, right? In the graveyard, target the Albaz, summon it out, and then go Albaz effect, discard the Cartesia, and then make the Mirror Jade that way. Or Albion into Mirror Jade, right? Albion effect, Chainlink 2, Cartesia, summon out this. And then fuse off, like, whatever, I guess. Keep the new Albaz in the graveyard, or the old Albaz in the graveyard, and then make the Mirror Jade, right? And then here you can just go Jade, you can still do branded and red plays, and you have the Mercurier, right? So, like, you ended up having just, like, full combo, right? It's just, like, you didn't end on the Mirror Jade, which I could have ended on Mirror Jade and just fucking gotten Dark Rulered for my life, right? Like, do you guys see that concept with, like, not losing to Dark Ruler if I, like, went branded red in the end phase? I've been seeing a lot of combos with the support doing, like, branded and red plays in the end phase, and I just feel like that's, like, not what you want to do with the deck, honestly, if you, once again, unless you want to lose to the most common board breaker that's right now played besides Fallen and the Virtuous, but... Do you still have the secret Albion? Yes, I do. Thank you for the $2, Sonic Rage. I appreciate you, my king. I should be the one donating you, bro. It's your birthday. I appreciate you, my man. Totally agree with the Dark Ruler. No. Alright. Do you feel like Lulu, Sanctifier, Secretarion will be necessary post-burst protocol? I think none of them are necessary, but they're all quite good. Okay, so... This is Fallen of Albaz plus Sarnier plus High Spirits plus Valor plus Virtuous. Great hand going second. Great hand going first. Top deck Mercurier. Rest in peace. But what we can do here is go... Once again, order of operations. Like, what hand traps do you want to lose to? I mean, this hand, it's literally one starter. So, like, it's not too or not too many operations to order, to be fair. But yeah, we got 80 people in the chat. I do appreciate it. But in general, in my opinion, you like to play around draw, right? So you can go draw phase, go High Spirits. High Spirits is one of your best ways to play around draw. Doing that in the draw phase. But to be honest, you really don't lose to draw with the new support anyway, so like sometimes it like really does not matter at all. And we go High Spirits, pitch the Sarnier. I think that's your best pitch in this deck build. If I'm running Lubellion, it might not be, but I'm not. And then we can send a Dark Dragon. Probably just go for the Titanclad. And now we can go for the Fallen of the White. Always go for the Fallen of the White Dragon. If you just have the option between one branded fusion plus no extenders and one Fallen of the White Dragon plus no extenders, you go for the Fallen of the White Dragon every single fucking time. I think branded fusion gets better when you have like 2 to 3 card combos, frankly, than Fallen of the White going first. But once again, you still like to play through hand traps more than anything, and then we can trigger the Sarnier. And since we don't have the Retribution here or the Lubellion, I think actually the next best send will be branded opening so that we can have protection from destruction effects. And here we can go Fallen of the White Dragon, send for cost. And at this point, without even without even summoning a single monster, we have played through every hand trap in the book. Because we have Titanclad plus Albion for full combo in the end phase. So we just go Fallen of the White Dragon here. Go for the Ecclesia. And this also is another great example of why you really don't need the Golden Sword Soul, in my opinion. Because look, I could just fuse off the Valor or the Fallen of Albaz. So now we can just fuse off, or sorry, synchro off. And go for Ecclesia the Black. And now we can go Chainlink 1 Ecclesia the Black to banish yourself until the end phase to special summon out the Cartesia. Now we can go Cartesia effect to fuse off the Albaz in the hand. Here, I'll put this here so people can see what we have in the graveyard. And then go into the Granganol. And then we can go Granganol effect to... We have Titanic plus Albaz plus Cartesia plus... So we have like full combo in the graveyard, right? So at this point, this is why I really do like the Dogma Dragon, right? Because you get to just get the Mercurier. That's why I don't feel like Lost is that mandatory anymore, because this card just searches Mercurier very nicely. That's why 2 Dogma is very good, because you can search the Mercurier and then search the Fav as well, or make the other one. And here it really just depends on what we want to do. Do we want to end on Fav, or do we want to use Fav in the end phase? Considering like what I've already used in the graveyard, there's nothing. I mean, I guess we could send Renbrum. It's like the same thing. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with like setting this go end phase. Go Dragon. Or I guess we get Mercurier anyway, so I think Dogma gets us Fav anyway to hand. Since this just gets us to Mercurier. Add the Fav, and then add Cartesia, add Ecclesia. Or I guess we wait for Ecclesia, because we could also just revive one of them. But there's no real point. So I guess we just add this to hand. That's the thing, though. Because we could keep the Cartesia. Or we just go Titanclad. Summon Quem effect, send Cartesia. Or we could send Mercurier and summon Mercurier. Then we could go Fallen of the Virtuous. Depends on what we want to do. Do we want to extend with a Renbrum? I think extending with Renbrum is just fine. To pop with the Grand Guignol, and then we can go trigger the Quem, summon out Cartesia. And now we have this on board, which is quite good, because then we pass to our opponent. We kind of just let them play the game, right? We have Fallen of the Virtuous, we have a live Grand Guignol, we have a live Renbrum, and we have a hand trap in hand as well. Plus Ecclesia, plus Quem and Cartesia, so we have like basically any... We can play, like, we can make any board we want. Also, I forgot to set the Brandon red off of Albion, my bad. This was supposed to be here. I was like, yeah, I'm missing something. So, once again, like, if you guys haven't noticed, I think one of the best ways to, like, play out your branded board is to, like, go to summon out your Albaz off of Renbrum. That's, like, one of the first plays I think you usually want to make, because you can play around Called by Bestials by chaining Ecclesia or Branded Red or Fallen of the Virtuous, right? If you have Ecclesia in the graveyard. For that reason, you could keep the Ecclesia in the graveyard if you're, like, worried about, like, Bestials that much. And then banish the Renbrum, go Albaz effect, discard Ecclesia so that we have in the graveyard for the Fallen of the Virtuous, fuse it off. And we'll do a lad line here since someone requested that. Like, a lot of light monsters in the game. You're against Yummy, fuse off their Cupsy, make Albion, go Albion effect. Also, we're just going to set these so I don't get confused. Then we can go Albion effect. I'll put Albion in the extra monster zone. 2. Banish the Fallen of the White Dragon in the graveyard, plus another Dark. So, Saranir, I guess. And then go into Lubellion. And then go Lubellion, Chainlink 1, discard the Cartesia to fuse, or to make the Mirror Jade by fusing back Albion plus the Fallen of the White in the graveyard. And you keep the Lubellion on board, because you want it for the Light and Darkness Dragon Lord. So now you get the Mirror Jade. And now you can go do Cartesia effect to fuse off Albion plus Lubellion. And then go for Lad. And ideally, you would have wanted to, before you do this, actually, do this before. Go Ecclesia the Black, banish itself for Mercurier, and then use your Mercurier. Because you don't want to get in a situation where if you're making Lad, you haven't used your Mercurier yet and you have access to Mercurier, because then you basically lose your Mercurier since Lad chain blocks and Mercurier has to respond to the effect that's activating. So if Lad is chain blocking that effect, you can't use Mercurier. So we could use Mercurier as another negate, and then we do Cartesia, fuse off the Albion plus the Lubellion into the Lad, which is 3 Omni negates. And then we still have the Mirror Jade, which then can non-target banish, right? Sending the Abelonatus. And then here we also could just go Fallen in the Virtuous, pop our own Mirror Jade if we want to reuse it. Or we could just go Fallen in the Virtuous, pop one of our opponent's monsters, right? Ideally. It's so crazy, though, because if we do that, we send Albion. And then... Or I guess we just send Sanctifier instead of Albion, right? Yep. But yeah, no, we can just, like, loop the Jade here if we wanted to. Because we could pop this and then trigger Quem. Right, and then Quem revive. But then it's like, okay, I don't know how I went through all my extra deck cards. That's crazy. But yeah, there's like plenty of different ways to play out these kinds of hands. I feel like at this point you are never losing this game if you were able to establish a board like this. And you could have locked as well. I'm just trying to think on... You don't want to do... See, Lad is hard to do without... Trying to think how we could have done that with locking as well, because I could have locked by going into there's like a way to do it. Okay, maybe it's not as easy as I thought without banishment, honestly. Does that make me want to run Lad less? No, because then, well, if you lead with Ecclesia, it gets ashed and then you go Fallen in the White and then that doesn't get ashed and then you can play the game. Or if you lead with this gets ashed. I guess you do the same thing, so... Yeah, so this is like an example of the Synchro line. You'll go Fallen in the White Dragon, send for cost a Albion, and you know you're going the Synchro line, so you can just send the Albion. And then if they ash you, right, boo-hoo, because then you just have normal summon Ecclesia. And then you can Synchro off. Literally inconsequential ash, go for Ecclesia the Black. And then you can go Ecclesia the Black Dragon effect to banish for cost. And here, you're most likely always going for Cartesia. And then you can go Cartesia effect to fuse off itself plus the Spriggan's Kit. And then go for the Grand Guignol, and then you can go Grand Guignol 1, Chainlink 2, Tri-Brigade, Spriggan's Kit, revive the Cartesia. And then you can send off a Guignol, the Titanclad. And here you can just... Honestly, I don't like overcommitting here. So I'm just gonna, like, set my branded Red and Retribution to play, like, interactive Yu-Gi-Oh! And then go end phase. Return back the Ecclesia of the Dark. And then go Titanclad effect to summon out the Quem. Gaia Quem La Virtuosa. And then go for effect, which can just send OG Albaz here. And then go for Ecclesia to hand, probably. Actually, what I like to do is go Albion here, get the Fallen in the Virtuous. And then you decide either to set it or not. I think you set it here because you have the Albaz already in rotation, and this is just like a damn good board, right? Like, I just prefer to have the red in the pocket rather, because I have Retribution to spin back my 2 graveyard fusions to stop any summon, and then I'm most likely, all things considered though, what I would like to do with this kind of board is just go into a Mirror Jade as soon as possible, because then Ecclesia the Dark Dragon can tag out for a Mercurier, right? But it's not always that easy, because you want, ideally, your opponent to summon a monster. So you can go Fallen in the Virtuous, then send Renbrum, pop the monster, they summon another, or they use a continuous card or whatever, then they summon a monster, then you can go Renbrum, summon the Albaz. Also, you were supposed to get back Ecclesia to hand. My bad. Discard the Ecclesia that you totally headed off in end phase, and then just play the interactive Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like, go into Mirror Jade. You have a banish off Mirror Jade, which you can just, you know, load your graveyard, send another Albion for Branded Fusion follow-up, or you could actually just send Alba Lenatus here. I think that's better for the grind game. And then you have Mercurier to negate. Once again, you have Retribution to send back to your Titanclad plus Albion, so that's another negate plus follow-up. And then you can just go, but this should be in graveyard. And then you can loop the Mirror Jade with the Cartesia by fusing off the Mirror Jade for something. It really just depends. It would be the second Guignol here, but the second Guignol isn't doing much besides generating you just like more advantage later, which isn't too bad. But this is where Stapelia comes up, frankly. So maybe we put in Stapelia. I love Stapelia, man. Stapelia wasn't coming up last night, but this is where like you can make Stapelia instead of Guignol. But Guignol send is still fine, right? Because then you can go for Albion still. And then, of course, you can trigger the Quem since a card left the extra deck. Summon out the Mirror Jade, go Mirror Jade effect, send the Titanclad again that you just spun back, get another banish. Then one of your Guignols can tag out in order to go out to Proskinion, which can be a monster steal in your opponent's graveyard as long as it's from the extra deck. And then you can go Branded in red, target either Albaz in graveyard, probably just the new Albaz, so you can keep the OG one in rotation. And then banish itself plus the Guignol. And then go for Albion. And then Albion can banish. I guess we are gonna... Huh. I guess we do technically have to banish. Because what we could do is go Albion. Actually go Dogma, which is funny. However, I still think it's probably more correct to just go for banish Albion, I guess, probably. That feels really bad, but it's also fine. Plus Titanclad for the Chaos Star Source, and we went through 14 or 11 extra cards. And what was that? 2 banishes plus 2 pops plus an effect negate off Mercurier plus a summon negate off of Retribution plus a pop off of Fallen and the Virtuous, and then an interruption off of Proskinion. And then also we got to fuse off a monster off of Albaz. So that was upwards near of almost 10 interruptions. That was 9 interruptions, right? Pretty good. Also, these are all going to be non-lock lines today. I know people love the non-lock lines. I'm kind of wanting to run a Stapelia, though, after that. However, I still value, like, literally every card in this extra deck so much. So I'm not sure. Like, if anything, it would be Stapelia over Boral. Maybe. So, I guess that for that reason, you start High Spirits for sure and draw phase. And then High Spirits off the Thulos, sending the Renbrum. And then we can search out probably Cartesia. And then go normal summon Cartesia, special summon Fall into the White by sending for cost. After, I mean, it's an activated effect, yes I know. And then go for Albion, and then go Fall into the White, go for Ecclesia. We should have also activated Branded Loss, just in case, but they imperm us. And then go for Ecclesia, and then we can synchro off. I think this is a very easy synchro line instead of investing into the kit. I mean, that's why I removed Spriggan's Kit. You really don't even want to go Spriggan's Kit off of High Spirits. Unless it's like turn 2 or 3. Go into Ecclesia the Black, or in the Dark Dragon. And then we can go Ecclesia the Dark Dragon effect. Banish for card effect, and then special summon out. Do we want a special here? I guess it's going to be Spriggan's Kit. Yep. And then we can use Cartesia effect, fuse off itself plus Spriggan's Kit. Yeah, Spriggan's Kit comes up a lot. I think someone asked in the chat, how is it? It comes up a lot. in like grind games. It's just a very useful break. Grand Guignol lost, Chainlink 2, and here, I mean, it's like, oh boy, we could search Shrouded. Like, what's Shrouded actually getting me here? No one knows. We could search Mercurier. We could search... Oh, sorry. And then we go Chainlink 3, Tri-Brigade Spriggan's Kit. I completely forgot about that, so we can revive the Cartesia. Or we could revive the Ecclesia. But honestly... Instead, what we could just do is search out an Albaz, the OG Albaz. And then send off of the Grand Guignol a Dogma. Right? No, we want to send Quem. Or go for Titanclad for Quem. And then we can just go for end phase here. And resummon out the Ecclesia of the Dark. And then activate the Dogma. Go for either Mercurier or Fallen of the Virtuous. Oh, we could have done Fallen of the Virtuous for searching that, but honestly, I think going for the Mercurier is like totally just fine. Off of the Dogma, and then go for Albion effect to go for either Branded in Red or Fallen of the Virtuous. Or Branded Banishment. Or sorry, Branded Retribution. I guess you could do Banishment as well. But I think these are all pretty fine. I mean, we already have Rinbrum in the graveyard, so I don't think it's Fav. I think you go for Fav if you don't have, like, direct access for Rinbrum a lot of the time. But then again, a lot of people are cutting red now, so... I don't know, I'm locking in the side deck, so I'm still, like, keeping the red, and I also think it's, like, a good card. And then we can go for Ecclesia, the hand for a discard, and then pass to our opponent. And here we have a pretty nice board, all things considered. We could just shotgun the Branded in Red if we wanted. Also, where's the Quem? I completely forgot about the Quem. Yeah, we go for Quem off the Titanclad and then go for Quem effect. I guess High Spirits to hand. It's either that or Cartesia, but I think High Spirits is just fine. And then pass to our opponent. And then... Here it's like... We could just... essentially just wait for our opponents to start playing the game. That's just how Branded works the best, is... kind of playing low to the ground and then waiting, and then playing once your opponent... You know, playing according to how your opponent's playing. Because you have a lot of interruptions in waiting that you can just, like, properly use better, or, like, more efficiently use if you know what your opponent is, like, actually trying to do. Salty Yogurt, what was the consideration with the Dogma Sun? Oh, in the last combo? Wait, did I send Dogma or Titanclad? I was like, why did I search Mercurier? Now I'm confused. We'll just redo the combo. It's just a Branded Fusion line going first. Nothing too much to say about that. If you just draw Branded Fusion in this kind of environment, I think what you want to do is obviously start Branded Fusion. And here you kind of decide what you want to do, because you do have OG Albaz in hand, which allows you to normal summon. If you run Tragedy, you obviously send Tragedy here, but I don't run Tragedy. I don't think a lot of people will with the new support, so... But we do have Super Poly as well, which allows us to kind of make our board better if we really wanted to. I mean, yeah, I think it's Lubellion no matter what. But... And then go for... Question is, do we go for a Lubellion effect? I don't know if we necessarily do. I just wish a Contact Fusion triggered lost. Right. I mean, I think we'll do it anyway. But I don't know, we lose access to Albaz plus red plays. So I think you just, like, literally... It's so weird how this play is, like, better if you do it like this, but you don't go Albion effect and then tribute over for a Lubellion and then go for Lubellion. I mean, it's really just because we have no other extenders. I think this would have been the case no matter what. Even with the old support, you kind of play it out like this anyway. And then set the super poly? It's either that or we could just go normal summon Albaz, chain super poly, discard Perul. Yeah, okay, yeah. So normal summon Albaz, chain super poly. I guess, even though that sounds like it sucks. Because like, what am I actually making here? I guess Titanclad. But then it's like, oh yeah. And then we could go chain link 1 branded loss. This is the most jank way to ever do it in my life. Holy crap. Where's my Fallen of the White? And then go Fallen of the White effect. Sending for cost. Dogma. And then go Fallen of the White effect. Summon out Ecclesia. This shows you guys how the cards just like mesh together very well. You can still use it without going into the synchro, and then you can contact fuse off the Fallen of the White plus the Titanclad for Alba Lenatus. And then now we have a full graveyard. It's pretty good. Plus Ash in hand. So then we can go into the end phase, trigger the Dogma, and we can get the Fallen of the Virtuous here. Then we can go Fallen of the Virtuous effect to summon out. Is there anything we actually want to summon out here? No. So what we could just do is search Fallen of the Virtuous, go Fallen of the Virtuous effect. No. We can keep Fallen of the Virtuous and then go Titanclad. Yeah, you always trigger the Fallen of the or you always use the Fallen of the Virtuous in the end phase after you have the Quem on field, so you can then go Quem effect, send the Cartesia, and then go for Fallen of the Virtuous effect to then send for cost. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You could just use its other effect if you really want. But you can send the Rinbrum, get that in rotation, pop the Alba Lenatus, and then trigger the Quem to target the Cartesia. And then you can go Alba Lenatus effect to search out follow-up in the form of Branded Fusion. And then you can go Albion the Branded Dragon effect to then go for Branded Fusion or Fallen of the Virtuous. Branded Red or Fallen of the Virtuous. I like Branded Red here. And then you kind of just play the game, right? Or you pass your opponent, and you're still in like a pretty, like, you know, all things considered, having the Albaz in rotation plus Rinbrum, and then you have Cartesia, Quem plus Ecclesia into, I guess, like, not, I guess the Ecclesia isn't doing anything on the board anyway, but that's alright, because we can go Ecclesia, summon out Albaz anyways, and then that gives me an Albaz to fuse off with Cartesia, so there's plenty we can do with that. It's just kind of how depends on how our opponent plays out the turn. You know, usually letting your opponent summon a monster, and then, okay, well, Rinbrum effect. Summon out Albaz, go Albaz effect. Discard for cost. Probably Branded Fusion, unfortunately, but it happens. And then go for whatever, Albion into Mirror Jade. Whatever you need to do. I think, like, Albion into Mirror Jade is kind of smart here, because you can go Chainlink 1 Albion, Chainlink 2 Branded Lost. Search out Mercurier. You could also potentially loop. You could have potentially looped Jade as well if you have access to just search out Spriggan's Kit, but I think Merc is just fine here. And then we can banish off the new Albaz plus whatever in the graveyard, probably Dogma. Doesn't really matter. For the Mirror Jade. And then we can go Mirror Jade effect. Send for cost to banish monster on our opponent's side of the field. Don't have too many suns left. I apparently only have Lubellion. What the fuck? Oh, I went way too hard last turn. Whoops. And then banish. That's so crazy. I can't even loop my Mirror Jade again. What? What? There's no way that just happened. But you guys get the point with that board. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Because you're searching every single turn. And then its ability to pair really well with Lubellion for a good branded fusion line is nice. So I was on a Stellar, but like, sometimes you just don't draw the 2 spells to discard. There we go. Perfect hand. I mean, I don't know. I see this Mercurier fucking stuck to my hand. It's not perfect. If I had anything else than Mercurier, we'd be chilling. But yeah, I mean, this hand's pretty good. It's just, once again, a synchro line, but just like, just play this out. This is like one of those hands that just like still dies to a hand trap or two. It's kind of hard to hand shuffle with these cards, but obviously you just like start with Lubellion to try bait hand traps though, in my opinion. Oh, Mercurier is a level 4, huh? That is interesting. Go Magnamut, and then we can go Fall into the White. Sending for cost. And then go Fall into the White, summon out the kit. And it's like here, what we could do, if we want to be interesting, is like normal summon Merc and synchro off the Merc with the Ecclesia, and then banish the Merc with the Magnamut. I don't think I'm going to do that, though, because I still like Mercurier as an end board piece. And I don't know if I want to banish it necessarily. But I don't know. I'm also going to have to put it in the graveyard. So actually, honestly, I think this is correct. I normal summon Merc. Synchro off. Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon. And then we can go Magnamut effect, target Mercurier, banish Mercurier. And then we can go Chainlink 1, Mercurier, Chainlink 2, Magnamut. Search out probably Cartesia. And then we can ban it, or tribute over the Magnamut for Lubellion, go Lubellion effect. Branded Lost, and then go for Ecclesia. And honestly, there isn't... The only issue with this is like... I guess we can get the Spriggan's kit, and then we can loop the Ecclesia. Or we could go for Quem. Or loop the Cartesia. I think that's fine. Special summon out the Cartesia. Use off the kit plus the Cartesia for the Grang. And then we can go Grang effect. Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2 branded Lost to search out. Yeah, there is... Okay, so I don't have a really good search here. I guess it's just Albaz. Like, it's not really that good here. That's why, like, Kit would be insane here. But I think I'm still, like, winning if I'm getting to this board state anyway. And then Grang also has to send... Just depends, right? And also I have to trigger Pride Brigade Spriggan's Kit to bring back Cartesia anyway. What, we're just gonna get the... Oh, I guess I need to get OG Albaz, right? Yeah. We can get OG Albaz off of this. I don't know why off of Branded Lost. It's actually half not terrible. And then what, send Renbrum or Dogma? And then go... I mean, honestly, I'm not, like, completely happy with this because not having, like, better summons off Ecclesia is kind of annoying, but... I don't know, I can, like, go into Dogma, though, and spin back the Mercurier, and it's, like, just fine. I'll show you guys with that. So we bring back in that in the end phase, and then go for Albion. And then we can go... My only issue, though, is I kind of get cooked to an Imperm, which I don't like. Or, like, a Fav in draw phase. No, I don't, because Ecclesia picks up the Fav in draw phase, so it's, like, fine. Well, that's why also I think... What we could do is just go for Branded in red. But the issue is, like, OG Ecclesia also, like, doesn't summon Albaz from deck. So there's, like, some times where you almost, like, want to keep the Albaz in deck if you're going to be using Ecclesia on board. But Ecclesia on board also, like, loses to a top deck dash, so it's, like, something you have to be careful about. One Dogma is fine. Too much grind game can result in possible double loss to time. Brand is so technical, you need to adjust your plays constantly. Well, that's why I run the lock, because the lock really helps you with time constraints in TCG. But anyways, we can just like kind of pass to our opponent on this board and be pretty chill. I think what we could do, if anything, is like keep OG Albaz in deck, but like also, well, I don't know, because Ecclesia, what can Ecclesia even summon out here? Albaz into Ecclesia, and then that doesn't really do anything. Oh, Quem. Yeah, Quem, okay. The Ecclesia in the dark just like fixes everything, because then we can go, when your opponent like does something, go Ecclesia of the Dark into Quem, and then we can go Quem effects and Albaz. Okay, cool. I was just like, I'm missing something here. So even if your opponent like imperms your Cartesia, okay, well you have branded red, target the Albaz in graveyard, and then you can do your thing, right? Which is also why I like branded red here more too. But what's kind of cool is that we can go with this kind of board if you want to spin back the Mercurier, which is kind of nice. Like, what we could do is go Cartesia effect, fuse off the Grand Guignol plus the Albaz. Do we want to do that, though? Because, think about it. We could go branded in red first, target Albaz, fuse it off, plus the Grand Guignol into Mirror Jade. And then we can go Chainlink 1 Mirror Jade. You don't trigger the branded Lost here, though. I think. Oh, that's kind of neat. I could also fuse off the kit with the Mirror Jade and loop the Mirror Jade. Actually, there's nothing I can actually make with that. Like, get your Banish. But, like... Oh, wait. It's supposed to be... Oh, yeah, what am I doing? I can't banish off this. No, this is like greedy as hell. So we're gonna banish off the branded, or off for the branded red, the branded Fallen of the White Dragon, and then also banish off the Fallen of the White on your field. This is definitely the play. It's just like I'm trolling. So why branded's so hyper specific sometimes, because if you just don't sequence it correctly, you're just kind of losing. So now we can go Lubellion, discard the Albaz, so it connects with the Renbrum. That's what I was trying to do. Spin back the Lubellion plus an Albaz, and then get to Mirror Jade. And now we can go for right, the Renbrum in graveyard, banish itself, summon Albaz, go Albaz effect, discard for cost, and then ideally fuse off 2 of your opponent's monsters, and then go for Dogma. And then we can go Chainlink 1 Dogma. Chainlink 1 branded Lost, Chainlink 2 Dogma. And then you can spin back the Mercurier and then search it off the Lost on the same Chainlink, which is pretty cool. I think I also missed out some opportunity to loop Mirror Jade. Like, you could have also went for the looping Mirror Jade line, but then you also have, like, Mercurier Ash, so... I don't know, this isn't bad for, like, a 1-card combo. I don't think this is, like, bad at all. I mean, it was technically 1.5 because of Lubellion, but Lubellion wasn't doing, like, a whole lot. Sometimes I do want to run a Stellar again, though, because the Stellar is just, like, a bit more impactful as a branded Fusion Send if you can get it online. But the discarding top deck is branded Fusion, so at least going second, this hand's pretty good. Going first, it's whatever. It's just like one of those hands that you have to like kind of play it out brick style and just hope it Super Poly plus like Quem control gets you there. I mean, you have branded Lost, so it's like actually a lot of potential. Just all depends on how your opponent plays into it, though, whether it's gonna be good or not. Man, I keep drawing like double Virtuous and like Super Poly, which is good, but like the double Virtuous sucks, right? Like if it was just like opening instead of the third Virtuous, like this hand's like god tier. This is the type of hand I like seeing, like 2 starters plus like 3 non-engine in this deck. I think is insane. Especially Fallen the White is one of them, because Fallen the White already plays through a hand trap on its own. So how do we play out this hand? Let's just say how do we play out this hand? I think this hand, and going second, it's just board breaker city, but going, and even then against like certain decks, I feel like I don't love this approach. Like Yummy Mitsu, letting them go full combo kind of sucks here. But what would, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like, that's why it's like, okay, you would just rather this super probably be a droll against that deck. But honestly, Yummy Mitsu, there's certain lines that they don't even care about droll. Thoughts on the Light and Darkness Dragon Lord? I don't... It's okay. I just think a lot of decks have pretty decent outs to it. So, you just start Fallen the Virtuous as always. You like to use Fallen the Virtuous before you lock yourself a lot of the time. And since we still have the possibility to go Branded Fusion here, I think I send Titanclad. And then here I can go Fallen the White Dragon. If they just Ash it, obviously we just follow up with Branded Opening. If they Imperm it, we can go Fallen the Virtuous. Actually, no, I don't know if I would not go Fallen the Virtuous there, but... And even then, I kind of think... I mean, we can go into the kit. Or sorry, this... Ecclesia, but... I do think we go Opening at one point. But I think it's definitely a Synchro line. Go Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon. And then we can go Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon effect to banish itself to summon. And then we can go for the Cartesia. And here we can just go for... I mean, Branded Opening is kind of... It's interesting here. Like, we could save it for the end phase, honestly. Because then we can just go Cartesia effect, fuse off the Druid Swarm. Go for the Grand Guignol. 2 Grand Guignol's already came up, by the way, in one of these combos. So I do have to reconsider if that is going to be the play or not. Go Grand Guignol, but it's always good to test, right? Send the Albion. And now we can go end phase. Activate Cartesia to hand. Actually, no. Activate Ecclesia to hand, and then go Branded Opening. Discard the Ecclesia. And then go for Aluber. And then we can go Aluber effect to then search out Branded in red. I don't love this line, but you still get Fab in the end phase, so that's fine. And then you can go Titaniclad effect to then go for Quem. And then we can go Quem effect to send for cost. Tri-Brigade Spriggan's Kit. And then we can go Tri-Brigade Spriggan's Kit effect to then revive probably Ecclesia. It doesn't really matter. And then we can go... Oh, that's the thing. Like, why wouldn't you just set Branded in red here, right? I don't know. Like... Because I... Oh, no. Because you would set... I forgot to set all these cards anyway. That's why it's a little confusing. These should obviously be set. And then... Okay, yeah. And then we could just go Branded in red. Like, banish off, like, whatever. Like, Grand Guignol if we wanted to. Ecclesia in the dark if we wanted to get rid of the Mercurier access. Like, I don't think Grand Guignol's that necessary here, so... It's just depending on what we want to do here. Oh, that was why, because... I can then go Fallen the Virtuous. Oh, well. So, yeah. We'll just go into here. It's one of those lines I don't love at the end of the day, though, because, okay, it's like... I use my red, but then it's like, okay, Quem, summon out cart. It's like, great. But the thing is, I already have access to Fav or Fallen the Virtuous off of the Albion in the graveyard. So if that's the case, I didn't need to revive the Cartesia, right? But I guess here what I could just go do is Fallen the Virtuous that I just added and then pop the Aluber by sending for cost the Dogma. And then we can go Dogma, I guess. Search out Mercurier. I don't love this, but it's still just like a pretty decent end board for like a 2-card combo. And then we can go Ecclesia back to field, which helps us play around Bestials and Called By on the Elbaz or something like that. And we don't have any discards though to get back, which I don't like. That's also something that I'm not the biggest fan of when people are like sticking the Cartesia and Ecclesia on the board in their end phase, because that gets rid of like my ability to have discards, where I kind of like having the discards to then discard and then recur if I want off of like the Quem or something, but obviously this loops Mirror Jade really nicely as well, so if I had branded Lost Access, I think this would be nice, but I didn't really have that no matter what. I think this like board's like overall pretty sufficient. Also this, dude, I hate this perspective sometimes. Like sometimes it's great, but then the other times it's just like cutting off half my board. Sorry about that, guys. Do you think about dropping Mercurier? Seems to always get in the way of the opening hand and what could have been a more effective card. I think it's like the best brick in our deck though. Like I don't know, it's also insane interruption that like you just need, like you need this card into Dracotel. Like how else are you stopping 5 mana? Also when you main deck Albalinatus, which it's kind of mandatory now, I think there's a lot of lines where you can stick a Mercurier before Branded Fusion. I mean, not a lot of lines, but that's there, which is useful. I just think this card's just worth the brick. I'm not running Retribution, you know, like I think it's relatively fine. It's also like a good card in my graveyard with like the 3 or 4 Bystials I could be running. I agree though, it sucks seeing this card, like this card stuck to my hand going second. So what, we have Mercurier plus a pop plus Ecclesia into Albaz, which I need another card in hand. That's the thing, dude. I can't. Yeah, no. I plus, like maybe if I just had unlimited card advantage, but I mean for that reason I should have just kept the Dogma ad in my hand. I think there was a few different ways to play this, and then I could go. Yeah, what I could have done is just like go Albaz, discard the Mercurier, and then go Ecclesia the Dark to banish itself, summon the Mercurier that I discarded. That's actually a really cool interaction I haven't thought about too much with the new support, is that you can, before previously in Branded, a lot of the time, sometimes like Mercurier is your only discard. So like that kind of sucks if it's like you have Albaz in rotation, you want to be playing the game, so the fact is now that we could, like, in this game state, like, go Albaz, discard it, and then, once again, if you have Ecclesia the Dark, just, you can summon it and still use its effects, so. That's, like, just efficient card advantage if you're in this board state where you only have the Mercurier in hand. Actually, that makes a ton, like, that makes this board so much better, right? Because then I go, summon out the Albaz off of what? Do we have Renbrum? Why am I summoning out Albaz? For some reason, I'm summoning out Albaz. Oh yeah, it's probably because Mirror Jade summoned Renbrum. And then go Renbrum effect. Summon out Albaz. And then go Albaz, discard the Mercurier. And then fuse off for, you know, preferably something decent. Albion into Lubellion. Or sorry, Albion into Chaos Star Source probably. By banishing 2. Pop 2. And then you can just go Ecclesia to summon out the Mercurier, which gives you that interruption back. And then you can go Cartesia, fuse off. Really just depends on what you want to do. I think you could go Cartesia, fuse off the Mirror Jade plus the Albion. And then do Stapelia and then loop the Jade with the Quem. And then go Quem effect, loop the Jade. And that still keeps the Fallen and the Virtuous pop. And then obviously the negate off Mercurier and then negate off of Stapelia. I don't know, Stapelia still is like something I'm not 100% on, but it's always been a card I love in Branded, frankly. It's just such an easy card to make. So this is like one of those awkward hands where you're just like, oh, this is a brick. I have 2 Bystials, a Mercurier, and a Fallen of the Virtuous, but this is still actually full combo. You go normal summon Merc. It is still technically a 3-card combo, which is kind of annoying, but it gets you there. Normal summon Merc, go chain Fallen of the Virtuous, send for cost, probably Albion, pop it. And then we can go Lubellion effect, bait and ash, right? And then search out a hand trap or something like that. Or sorry, a Bystial. Go for Magnamut. And then go for Magnamut effect, target the Mercurier. banish the Mercurier, and then go chainlink 1 Mercurier, chainlink 2 Magnamut to search in the end phase. And now we can search out the Fallen of the White. And then we can tribute over the Magnamut. If I can get my card I just dropped. For the Lubellion. And then we can go Lubellion effect. Get the Branded Lost. It's also kind of why I like Branded Lost. Giving myself discards is pretty nice when a lot of my cards need discards for cost. And then we can go Fallen of the White Dragon. Sending for cost. I know I do it a little bit fast. It's not just like inherent summon. Go for Titanclad, and then we can go effect to then summon out the Ecclesia. And then we can synchro off. Go Ecclesia effect. Banish herself for the Cartesia. Go Cartesia effect. Use off the Lubellion. Granganol. Go chainlink 1 Granganol and then chainlink 2 Branded Lost. What are we searching here? I already normal summoned. So, I mean, this is where like Shrouded would come up maybe, but I think Tri Brigade Spriggan's Kid is totally fine here. Or OG Albaz, honestly. But we already have Titanclad in rotation, so we don't need the OG Albaz. And then we can just send the Titanclad here, or sorry, not the Titanclad, the Dogma or the Renbrum. I think Renbrum's pretty good here, because Dogma, I mean, it's like one of those things where Dogma gets me into a wave to end on Cartesia, which I could just use to loop Jade. But also Renbrum stuff gets me to Jade anyway. But we do have Albion in graveyard, so yeah, we could just go for the Dogma in graveyard anyway. And then we can just go into the end phase. Oh, I forgot we can search this off of Dogma. That's actually huge. Go for Dogma Dragon, search out the Fav. And then go Titanclad effect, summon out the Quem effect, send... I mean, it could be Albaz, but then that takes away from the Ecclesia thing. Probably just branded in High Spirits to get the discard back. And then we can go Albion effect to then set either Branded in Red or Fallen in the Virtuous. I think either are fine here, frankly. So we'll just set the Fallen in the Virtuous. I mean, I don't know. So yeah, we can go Fallen in the Virtuous and then go for... use our Fallen in the Virtuous in the hand, since we have Ecclesia in the graveyard, to then revive. It's either revive or we could use the Quem effect to then send another follow-up piece in our graveyard, but there's not like really too much else to get here. Oh, you know what? This is how we get the Renbrum anyway. So yeah, we can use it, pop the Gwignall, and then go Cartesia revive. Right. Or sorry, Quem revive Cartesia. And then we can go Ecclesia the Black back to field. And it's a pretty good hand, all things considered. You're ending on a lot. Also, I forgot to set the Super Poly, so it didn't really matter, but still got the Gwignall access plus Quem Cartesia, Ecclesia, and then Fallen the Virtuous. Pass to our opponent, we let them summon a monster, you know, start playing the game a little bit. This just boards like this I get worried about, though. Into Dracotel, I'm just like, first action Rahu, or like first action Ketu. Do I have to run Retribution for that reason? Because I can get to, and also just not having the Mercurier, I'll just have to like go to Dogma to recur the Mercurier. But this is also like a rare hand where I'm not going to have the Mercurier anyway. And the Fallen the Virtuous is good here, but I have Renbrum, which already gets me there, so I think Retribution would be better. Just stuff like that to consider.